The following presentation is an AI-free production, 100% researched, written, and edited by actual human beings. All mistakes are purely human error, guaranteed. I got tentacles on my thingy.
I got tentacles on my thingy.
There's tentacles on my thingy.
Hello, dig for bones.
Hello, and welcome to the Least Haunted Podcast, a place where science, skepticism, humor, and anthropology meet to discuss all things spooky, haunting, supernatural, and sometimes just the plain ridiculous. I'm your host, Cody Franks, and joining me as almost always is twisting energetically, necrously, transcending, interacting chaotically, adding lovely laughs yearningly.
Garth, hi. I'm feeling so much better. I was sick last time. I was so sick. I thought I wasn't so sick. Listening back to that last episode, I did my best, guys, but it was not all the way there. Cody really carried it. Although, as you were telling me, you were thankful that I didn't cut in as much as I normally do.
That was off the record, Garth.
Anyway, welcome to the Least Haunted Podcast. We love you. We're so glad that you're here to join us on another episode. This is going to be a fun one. And
shout out to Monaken with an assist from Mary Ellen on the Discord for Garth's moniker this time. Not an alliterative.
I noticed that.
But an initialative or initialism.
Oh, so can you walk me through that then? What did it add up to? I wasn't paying attention.
Maybe you got to listen to it.
Okay, fine. Yeah, let's not say. Make people rewind. All right, so you can. We always try to say at the beginning, you can find us on Discord. We have a Patreon.
Yep.
We have a website that we're going to be revamping very soon.
Yes.
leasthaunted.com. So join us on all those things.
Tumblr.
Oh yeah, we got a Tumblr gnome that tumbles around, and anytime we mention something visual in the episode, you can find the visual.
Except for I don't
think we did one for the last one yet. But it's coming.
I dropped the ball on that. I got busy. There's a lot going on, man.
The gnome's been kicking up his gnome feet. Get cracking, gnome.
And of course, Blue Sky. All the things.
Oh yeah. No, not all the things.
Not
all the good things.
Yes, not all the things. Like, fuck Spotify, fuck...
So
anyway.
What are we talking about today, Mr. Franks?
Well, this time we're going to do something that I said we would do, but surprisingly, in a timely manner.
Oh my gosh, this isn't like, we said we'd do an episode on this 3 years ago?
Yeah, because we just talked about this like 2 episodes ago.
Okay.
Because this time we're going to cover the Pacific Northwest Tree Octopus.
See, I didn't know this. I thought this was a thing you made up because it's a hilarious idea of an octopus that lives in a tree.
Yeah.
But this is like has a long history. We're going to get into it in the Garth's Corner, all the media and fiction that's been about it. But it's been an idea for a long time. It's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, and last month we designated the tree squid as our cryptid for the year 2026.
This is our mascot for the vibes of 2026.
Tree squid gets it did.
Yep.
And although we envisioned the tree squid that we envisioned was like a new creation we were coming up with.
Yeah, we sort of merged several ideas togetter. But this would be a cousin to the arboreal octopus we'll be talking about today.
Yeah, it turns out what we were doing was just a case of convergent cryptid evolution, because there already was an extant arboreal cephalopod cryptid.
Cryptids can merge evolutionarily, unlike actual animals. That goes on and off. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. I lighten this. This is our first time recording first time recording in the new
so
studio.
We should tell everybody we're in the new Least Haunted headquarters here. And
a light just went out.
There are strange occurrences that Cody's looking around like, is that normal, Garth? Yeah, that's fine.
Or the fact that like next to us there is just a screen showing a star field in the deep of space that's animated.
Clearly out in space. You can see the stars out there.
They stopped moving.
There's a window. They did stop moving. That's because we stopped. They'll start moving again.
Okay.
All kinds of things will happen.
Anyway,
you don't even know.
So now is a great time to talk about the Pacific Northwest Tree Octopus and give it a full episode, as we said we would.
All right.
But the time is also right for a few other reasons. So first, I want to get this out of the way with a big spoiler.
Okay.
The Pacific Northwest Tree Octopus is not real.
I mean, says you. How can you prove a thing? Maybe it's up there. Maybe they're really good at camouflaging. They're octopuses.
No.
They're not real? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
However, it's a case study in both the early internet and just how wild it was. And it's an example of how critical thinking, internet literacy, good old-fashioned bullshit detection are so vitally important, not just in that early internet, but even more so now, more than ever.
They're important now?
Oh, no, more so than ever in our current hellscape.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's part of why it's a good time to talk about this. And then there's two other reasons why the time is right. One is a little more depressing and the other's joyous.
Okay.
We're going to start
with the depressing.
Yeah, we're going to start with the depressing. So this story takes place in Washington State, specifically around the Olympic Peninsula, the Puget Sound / Salish Sea, and it has its seed in the city of Tacoma. Currently, Tacoma is the location of an ICE detention facility. Likewise, the jackboot ICE thugs have been operating in the streets of Tacoma and doing their, fascist shit there.
You don't hear about that much.
Yeah, they're down in Portland. You get a lot of press in Portland, but they're also in Tacoma. So this episode is dedicated in part to the people at Tacoma, as well as all the other people in the greater Puget Sound, Salish Sea, what they call the Seattle-Vancouver megalopolis. Because it's all one big area.
Well, it's where the Pacific Ocean kind of goes on in toward North America and dips down to Seattle.
Yeah, well, there's going to be we've got a whole section.
I think it's called a sound.
We got a whole thing to explain that.
Okay.
But I'm still getting to the reasons why we're talking about this. And the happier reason is that Tacoma, Washington is where a very important an integral member of the least haunted family lives. Tacoma is where Ulysses Noman calls home.
Oh, right on.
And all of my personal experiences, some which will be mentioned in this episode, with this whole area, and indeed my experience with one of the key locations of the story, comes from Ulysses Noman showing me around.
Shout out to Ulysses Noman. Last time I saw him was at our wedding last summer when Kelly and I got married.
Coincidentally, I'll be traveling to this area in late May to co-officiate Ulysses' wedding.
Oh, right on.
So we want to
so cool.
So we want to dedicate this episode to Ulysses Noman, his lovely fiance, and congratulate them on their upcoming nuptials. And since I know he's listening right now, most likely in his car as he drives along the Puget Sound, I want to say, hey, this one's for you. Thanks for exposing me to the wonders of of Northern Washington and for teaching me everything I know about audio recording and editing. I'm not exaggerating when I say Least Haunted would not exist without you.
Ulysses has been a huge help, especially in the early days, figuring out filters and mixing.
Even up to now.
And still.
No. He was the best man in my wedding, and I'm going to co-officiate his in May. So I can't wait to see you in May, and I hope you enjoy this episode.
Do you figure that the Puget Sound is on his right or on his left as he drives right now?
Probably left. He's probably on his way from Tacoma up to Seattle to do a recording session.
That's enough. That's all I needed. I can picture exactly what he's seeing right now.
Okay, so
we're in your head, Ulysses.
With all that out of the way, we can finally start. And I know what you're already thinking. Is he going to do what he did last time by starting in a really unexpected place and in a ridiculously long time ago?
I hope so.
I mean, last time the story of Paul Bunyan began in 1453 with the fall of Constantinople. He's not going to do that again, is he? 19,000 years ago, Garth.
All right. Do I even have to ask? Is this a backwards carousel of time?
I guess. Why the hell not?
I don't think we've done it at all this year.
Haven't done it in a long time.
All right, let's get on, everybody. 19,000. I'm gonna have to add another decimal here. I don't know if we've gone back this far.
I think the farthest we once went and saw some dinosaurs, maybe.
Okay, well, maybe once, but this dial on the knob is rusty. So here we go, everybody. Okay, 19,000.
Yeah, 19,000 years ago.
BCE. Or I guess 17,000 BCE.
The Vashon Glaciation is underway in the Pacific Northwest.
Now, yeah, look at it. It's going. I see it.
So what happens is the ice sheets of the Fraser Basin up in Canada have progressed to their furthest extent south, at least during this ice age, which is one of our more recent glaciations.
Okay, so are we standing on a glacier right now?
Yeah,
This whole area is a
Yes.
glacier. Okay, got it.
The ice stretches all the way to present-day Olympia, Washington.
Okay.
And it's spread out between the Olympic Mountains on the west and the Cascades to the east.
Those are peaking above the glacier.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
So the ice sheet here is a mile thick.
Wow.
Prior to the ice's approach, this area was a large basin full of lakes, including a massive freshwater lake called Glacial Lake Russell.
Oh.
There's a whole bunch of former glacial or glacier mega lakes that used to exist.
And they've all retroactively named them things like Russell.
There's Russell. There
What are the other names?
What's the one in Montana?
There's George,
it might be
Harry.
But either way,
Gerald.
there was a big one. So there's one in Montana that was huge, and it was basically a glacier was what was the dam that caused everything to back up.
I recall learning that when you go through mountains that are scooped out like from one mountain to the next, it's like a big scoop, like a bowl.
Yeah.
That indicates it was glacially carved.
Yes.
Different mountains can be different shapes, but that indicates there was a glacier there once.
Yes. So yeah, there's a giant freshwater lake in this basin,
Okay.
Which gets swallowed up by the glacier as it comes down.
Got it.
So before the glacier's there's already a bunch of lakes as well as one giant lake. The weight of all of this ice, it's mind-boggling amount of weight.
It must be compacting the earth.
It pressed the earth down in that area. Now, when glaciers recede, there is a thing that's called post-glacial rebound. And
The poofing up of the earth after the pressure gets taken off.
The 1995 movie Waterworld, starring Kevin Costner.
Of course.
The future. The polar ice caps have melted, and the Earth lies beneath a watery grave.
Posited that if all the ice on Earth melted, it would cover all the land except for the top of Mount Everest. That's not true at all.
We don't have enough water on Earth for that.
In fact, also, when ice melts, that release of weight causes the land to rise up, and many parts of the world are still rebounding from the last great major ice age.
Well, it takes a while for the rebound.
In fact, actually, if you were to remove all the ice from Antarctica, that entire continent would actually rise up hundreds of feet out of the water.
Whoa.
Slowly. It'll take a while for it to happen.
I see.
But once you remove all that weight. So
that must cause fractures and all kinds of mini earthquakes as it poofs up.
it's why global warming can affect earthquakes around the globe, and why we are having earthquakes is as all this ice is melting off these giant ice sheets that are receding still.
And you're probably getting earthquakes in unusual places because usually they happen along fault lines.
Yeah,
but this is a whole other thing. You get it in the middle of a tectonic plate.
And then also the stresses travel along plate boundaries. And so it's all this, if you melted all the ice off of Greenland,
You get a bunch of earthquakes.
Also, not just there, you can get them on other parts of the world. If you went, it's crazy. All this stuff is connected. So, about 16,850 years ago, the ice begins to retreat. Ice out.
The ice.
Get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out, ice.
It starts to retreat, and it retreats at a rate of about 340 meters or 1,120 feet per year.
Not fast enough. Get out.
Get out. And as it goes northward, it leaves these long gouges that run in a north-south direction.
Okay.
And some of these gouges were not actually created by ice scaping, as is the case in, say, Yosemite. You said, these mountain ranges where it shows where the glacier came through.
Yeah.
Because this was a large flat plain that had a glacier on it, that already had a bunch of sediment layers and stuff, it didn't really have hard ground to gouge the holes. Instead, underneath glaciers, you also have, because of all that pressure, it melts the ice under the pressure.
Oh, because pressure makes heat, and that'll warm up the ice.
And that's also why the glaciers move. They're sliding on a lubricated...
you see that if you take an ice cube and place it on a countertop, it'll start to get wet and melt, and it'll slide under the water level below it.
It's also
between the water and the ice cube, or the floor and the ice cube.
Yeah, that phenomenon is also part of the explanation for the Raceway Playa in Death Valley, where the rocks seem to slide around.
I remember talking about that years ago. That's right.
So In this case, though, a lot of these are caused by erosion from melted water beneath the glacier that was flowing to the sea.
Okay, got it.
When it recedes, it leaves a bunch of these freshwater lakes. And eventually, this entire basin, these lakes connect and open to the Pacific Ocean, at which point ocean water floods in.
Oh, wow.
All this fresh water becomes salt water. And now you have what is called today the Salish Sea. Part of that is the Puget Sound.
Okay, so the Salish Sea is the whole area of water going inland into the continent, and then Puget Sound is
the southern part.
Got it. Okay.
Although the name Salish Sea was only suggested and recognized in 1988.
Oh.
Because you have the Puget Sound, which is the southern end, and then further north, you still have all these islands and all these like fjords and channels that are just like the Sound, but like to the north. It's like a weird thing. And you have like Vancouver Island, which is fucking huge. And the Inland Passage that runs. So you have
lots
all these
of waterways.
Yeah, lots of waterways. And so this whole area, like basically from like Vancouver, British Columbia, around Vancouver Island, down through the Strait of Juan de Fuca, and all the way down the Puget Sound, this whole area is collectively called the Salish Sea.
But only recently, in 1988.
Yeah, the name was proposed. Salish is the peoples who live there are all part of the Salish language family.
Okay.
And they share some cultural traits. The Salish language family actually extends as far inland as Montana.
Wow, that's huge. Because languages tended to be pretty localized in
but you have like broader
Americas.
Language families, though.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
And so, and because of trade and stuff, these languages move and certain cultural things. But everybody that's like around the shores of the Salish Sea are living in very similar ways. So you're starting to see that typical Northwest art, like, your totem poles and stuff. You start to see stuff of that type. I'm not saying you actually see the full, long houses and totem poles that you see, say, like up towards Alaska and that far north. But you are seeing this kind of environment.
And people living in that area were going up and down the river.
Before we get to that, though, in 5,600 years ago, Mount Tahoma, or we call Mount Rainier, partially collapses. So there's a weird thing about like all the Cascade volcanoes is they seem to have this life cycle where they get to a certain point and they collapse in on themselves. So Mount St. Helens, when that happened, this is similar to Mount St. Helens. So about 2,000 feet off the top of Mount Rainier, which today is over 14,000 feet high, slid down north. They slid northwest down and followed a river basin and covers up the area, which is today Tacoma, Washington.
So that whole city's built on a landslide. From
it's built on about 20 to 30 meters or 66 to 98 feet of volcanic
that
debris.
Is so much material.
And that also fills in, it's kind of one of the last things that fills in part of the sound and creates its shape now. And I should also say that the Salish Sea and the Puget Sound, tons of islands. I think there's 400 named islands in the entire system.
Wow.
And so, it's a very interesting environment.
It seems like a cool place to explore.
The water level ranges in depth. Some of the the deepest parts are close to 900 feet deep.
In the Sound?
In the Sound. And the place that we're about to talk to very shortly, it's about 200 feet. So all these geological forces, they shape the Puget Sound. The area becomes home to indigenous peoples, the Salish-speaking peoples. But each one of them has their own dialects. They have their own distinct cultural things and beliefs that are different depending on the area. But all of those cultural things are shaped in some way by the Salish Sea. It dominates their lives. This is
probably where they get the food.
You get your food. You're using it to travel by boats.
Well, even when Lewis and Clark went through that area, when they would meet up with some of the indigenous people, they were still traveling. Up and down. I mean, that's
there
the
is
whole
a kind of related, but I recently learned about north of Vancouver Island, up into that reach of waterways along British Columbia coast. There was,
what? I got that wrong. Lewis and Clark went down the Columbia River between what is now Washington and Oregon. But I don't think they went that far.
But they actually are some of the first people to hear references to the Puget Sound.
Oh, okay.
So they didn't know that there was some big other inland body of water further north.
Okay, got it.
Because they were hearing about it. Also, indigenous name for the area. I'm going to try to pronounce it as best as I can in English. It's like Wulj.
Huh.
WHULJ.
How do you spell it with the Latin?
WHULJ.
WHULJ.
Wulj, but there might be an E at the end. I'm not good enough with the International Phonetic Alphabet to try and decipher
something like that.
Yeah, something like that. It's like an anglicized version. And really, that word means sea, salty water, and even that they had a concept of what a sound was, and like it also means sound.
Yeah,
a sound, for the record, is narrow bodies of water that usually they can.
Are they always connected to the ocean?
Yeah, they're connected to the ocean, but they go farther inland. They branch out,
they're kind of
like a slough,
kind of an inverted peninsula. If you have the ocean go into the land.
So, I think I started to say something, but I forgot it. But okay.
At least I got you caught up with the Lewis and Clark reference. Before that, we were talking about the different.
I was going to say that up north there was a group that actually had wooden armor, and a group that was almost like knights. Whoa. And that they fought against British and Russian fur traders, and there's a huge war.
What?
Yeah, and there was like a confederation that using canoes, they were traveling all the way up into Alaska and as far south as the Salish Sea.
Wow.
And getting reinforcements and fighting this years long battle. Yeah, it's
they were amazing with canoes. They would hunt whales. Yeah. The people who lived up in that area. Yeah.
The Salish Sea today, home to orcas, killer whales, stellar sea lions, a whole bunch of fish, and of course we're going to talk about octopi.
And potentially some octopi.
Okay, but when Europeans entered the area, they're the ones who gave it the name Puget Sound. They they do what, colonizers do.
Rape the land, take all the resources.
Yes, and
we can make some money.
And displace the people. And they quickly start building fishing and logging towns on all the various islands in the Sound and the Salish Sea. And so once you have all these little communities, of course they have to be connected somehow, right? We got to make sure commerce can flow.
I would think they'd connect through the waterways, right?
Right, which is what the indigenous people are doing.
Yeah, that's the best way to travel rather than over land.
So this actually leads to a very expansive, impressive ferry system that still runs to this day, 24 hours a day.
Wow.
You have these boats going from all these little islands.
Is it mostly just bringing materials like food and...
Commuters, some people live on these islands and work in Seattle.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they just take the ferry every day.
Yeah.
Cool.
In fact, when I was there, we took a ferry on a day trip with Ulysses Snowman up to the San Juan Islands, which are the northwesternmost part of the contiguous United States. There's a water border with Canada right there. And if you look across the ocean, it's like, there's Canada. Hi, Canada.
Wow.
We rode a ferry there. And then later, Allison and I took our car on a ferry from Whidbey Island across to the Olympic Peninsula. That's how we got to the Olympic National Park.
Oh, you went across? That's awesome.
Yeah.
You went across.
And when you look at we were looking at our directions, our maps on our phone, and it has a dotted line that runs across the water, but it's still listed as the highway number.
That's awesome. Is that just drive onto the ferry and it'll ferry you across in your car. That's so cool.
Fucking rad. Loved it. But at the southern end of it. So what is the Puget Sound proper? Everything from what's called Deception Pass, which is between Fidalgo and Whidbey Islands, all the way down.
Oh, that's what it wants you to think.
Yeah, it's deception. All the way down to the very bottom of the Sound, which is down past Tacoma towards Olympia. That whole area is officially proper. That's the Puget Sound. It's about 100 miles long.
The Puget Sound is.
The Puget Sound is drawn on the map, even though it's part of the broader Salish Sea, which is fucking huge.
What is the difference between Puget Sound and say a loch like Loch Ness? Is the loch just not attached to the ocean?
It's not.
But it's a similar kind of a thing. It's like a long.
Well, it's a long lake, but the Sound is much more spread out, like Elkhorn Slough nearby. I think a slough.
Yeah.
But very. deep. These are technically it's fjordlands. These are like fjords, like you'd find in Norway, made by glacial action. Some of them definitely have the deeper, and then they kind of they shallow out before they connect to the ocean. The only thing is that the sides aren't as steep as the fjords in Norway, which are so like noteworthy because they're so fucking deep. But some of the fjords in Norway are really long too.
Right, right,
and they kind of curve around because it's just basically the path the glacier followed. And there is one such fjord that factors into the story later down.
Okay.
So
we all this to establish the environment of our cryptid for the
because
episode.
this cryptid's origin in a way is tied to all of this. Especially this next part, which is a little bit more surprising. So, on the southern end of the sound is a spot called the Tacoma Narrows.
Okay.
There's the city of Tacoma, and then a little over a mile wide across the water, there is the Kitsap Peninsula. Now, the Kitsap Peninsula is separated from the rest of the Olympic Peninsula by a very long body of water that is connected to the sound that is called the Hood Canal. It's not a canal. It's a fjord. And the thing is, when the first Europeans came through, or the British explorers, and they're mapping the area, they labeled it as the Hood Channel. And then he abbreviated channel on the map, and then somebody copies that, someone copies that, and before you know it, the channel is now a canal.
Oh, canal. Okay, I can see how that.
But they still call it the Hood Canal. So that's on the western side of the Kitsap Peninsula, and then on the eastern side is the Tacoma Narrows. So it's this little peninsula. If you wanted to do business on any of the towns on the Kitsap Peninsula, and you're in Tacoma, it's like a 4.5 hour drive. You have to go
around.
You have to go all the way around and back up. And on the Kitsap Peninsula, there's a naval yard, Navy base. There's all kinds of other industries and stuff. And so, like I said, everybody's commuting by these I was going to say,
it seems like it'd be good to have a ferry there so you don't have to go all the way around.
So there is a ferry. But they were like, yeah, it just seems like we could do this more efficiently because the ferry has to go down in the amount of traffic. The cost wasn't really there. So in the 1930s, this idea starts.
A bridge?
We're going to build a bridge across the Tacoma Narrows. Now, some of you already know where this story is going.
I do not.
Very famous thing.
Okay.
So,
how long would that bridge be?
When it was constructed and finished being built in August of 1940, it was the third longest suspension bridge in the world.
Wow, suspension bridge.
Because it had a span the main span is just about a mile long.
Wow, that is something.
So at the time, the first one I think was Golden Gate Bridge, then the George Washington Bridge, and then the Tacoma Narrows Bridge. But they're trying to, when the first idea comes to build this bridge, they have to find funding, and that's hard to do.
A mile bridge.
Because they said, well, we could charge a toll to cross it, and the toll would pay for construction.
I mean, eventually. But
and still wouldn't. And also, this is a thing that, like, the actual amount of traffic that was going to be going over it, I mean, it's not as great as it could be, but it made more sense than how many people drive 4 hours around. Right?
Yeah. Can you even justify the cost considering how many people would be using it?
So in an attempt to find the cheapest way to do it, they're looking for different architects and engineers who can come up with a plan. This is in the 1937, I think, is when the Golden Gate Bridge opened.
Oh, okay.
And so here we are. So this project is going on between that and it's completed in 1940. The search begins to find who can design this bridge in a cost-effective way and do a good job. So the Golden Gate Bridge, which is a wonder of the world, still is, but when it was constructed, even more so.
I like how it's orange.
Continental Orange, it's called.
Oh.
And as soon as they finish painting it one way, they start painting the other.
Yeah, that's right. They never stop.
Never stops being painted.
All that salt, sea salt.
There was a primary architect for that project, but there were a lot of engineers and architects who also worked on it in other capacities.
Sure, yeah. That's a big project.
One of them is a guy named Leon Moiseff. He's a New York bridge engineer, and he's like, I can do it. I think they actually they request from the state government $11 million to put towards this project.
This is for Washington State to pay for.
This would be equivalent of $227 million today.
Wow.
And keep in mind, this is also the Great Depression.
Yeah.
Right. So
I was kind of surprised to hear they were doing this now. I was thinking, oh, well, that sounds like a public works project of the late 40s or 50s.
Well, that's what it ends up being because you have the National Reclamation Act or Rehabilitation Act, the original NRA, FDR's policies, the Public Works Association,
the CCC.
all the Civilian Conservation Corps, all this. So this is a perfect project. They're trying to spend money on these things to create jobs, right? So Moiseev has his own, though, unique design. He's like, well, I can save material.
I've got a cost-cutting.
Pretty much, yeah. We're gonna, but it's also gonna look amazing.
Okay.
So
what does he propose?
Well, he proposes like you have your suspension bridges, you think, but the actual roadbed, he thinks, on either side is going to be one long, continuously bolted together ribbon of steel on either side.
A ribbon of steel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like all the way, and then that's what the roadbed would put on, right?
So it's all steel, and then you just put stuff on top of that.
Yeah, the roadbed concrete stuff, right?
Okay.
The thing is that like the Golden Gate Bridge, the spans are bolted together, but there's also these gaps in there, which end up proving important.
Okay.
As we're going to find out.
Well, you wouldn't want it super, you'd want it a little flexible because of wind. So you don't want it super rigid or brittle.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So while they're constructing it, during construction, the men who are working on it start to notice that it's already behaving kind of weird.
It's not even done yet, and it's doing weird things.
It sways in the wind.
Okay.
And it moves around, and they come up with a nickname for it. They call it Galloping Gertie.
Oh, no.
Now, the name Galloping Gertie, actually, I didn't see this being directly referenced as to why they came up with Gertie specifically. I like the alliteration.
Yeah, but was Gertie referencing like a famous racehorse at the time?
My hypothesis actually is that I think I know what's going on here and why it's Gertie.
Okay. Why do you think, Cody?
1914. We're going to go back a bit.
Okay.
One of the first animated characters ever put on film is a dinosaur. A long-necked sauropod named Gertie. Gertie the dinosaur.
Who drew that? It's on the tip of my tongue. I think it was the guy that did Little Nemo in Slumberland, but I might be wrong.
Here.
But I know the exact animation you're referring to. This was back before they had different backgrounds. He drew the background for each drawing separately. It was like one of the first flip book style animations.
Winsor McKay.
Yeah, Winsor McKay. That's right.
And what he did for this was he had these animations of Gertie the dinosaur, long-necked sauropod.
He'd kind of lean toward you and he's munching.
But he would actually do a stage performance where they'd be projecting this. And he would be interacting with it and giving it, because he knew the time, he's the animator. So he's like, Gertie, pick up that boulder, and then it animates it, pick up the boulder. But everybody's thinking like, he's communicating with this thing. It's like a magic show, right?
Oh, it's great. Yes.
So Gertie becomes a very popular thing in, the 1914 is when it's debuted.
If you look up Gertie the dinosaur, you can find like film footage of him standing in the corner of the frame interacting with this giant animation he drew. It's great.
So 15 years later, is it kind of hard to believe that some of the men working on this bridge, who would have been kids when Gertie the dinosaur was around, would think about the similarities of a long span, like the long neck of Gertie. Mm-hmm. It's moving around like the neck. And also, you also get this kind of fun thing of girders. Gertie also works in. I think that Gertie the dinosaur is part of the inspiration for why they called it Galloping Gertie.
That is a very, very compelling hypothesis.
And the other part is that like the thing fucking gallops. It's twisting in the wind.
Yep.
Twisting.
Twisted in the wind. I love it. Okay.
So they still go ahead and complete construction. It completes in August of 1940. People who are driving on the road are reporting and talking about, gee, this thing's scary as shit, because when the wind blows, the roadbed can oscillate up to 4 or 5 feet.
Oh, God.
One person who remembered driving on the road.
Just like airborne suddenly?
So one person who remembered driving it said, there was a moment where suddenly the car right in front of you would disappear from view.
What the fuck?
Yeah. No, that's not a thing you want to happen on a bridge.
Bridges are all supposed to be a little flexible, but that's
and all of this comes to a disastrous conclusion in November of 1940. So the bridge has only been up, 3 months?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, the total length, it's 5,939 feet or 1,810 meters. The longest span of it is 2,800 feet. And it's 195 feet above the surface of the water. It's pretty, it's tall.
Yeah. And it must bow up. I mean, all these bridges, they kind of arc up.
Yeah.
They're not
totally I was wrong about the date. Sorry. Its opening day was July 1st, 1940. Okay. August. Okay. So July. But then...
Still just a few months. Something happens.
The morning of November 7th, 1940.
November 7th, 1940.
A day
that it wiggled too much.
It wiggles too much. And there is famous footage of this where you can watch it, and it's twisting in the wind. The breeze was only 40 miles per hour, which is not, I mean, that's still...
going over a sound. I mean, you get wind.
Yeah. But that's still like... You know, that's nothing like compared to what blows through the Golden Gate over the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah, no, it's not hurricane levels.
No. And it's twisting and twisting, and one reporter goes down there. He's driving across. He gets partway across, and he's like, I can't even drive on this.
Jeez.
Gets out of his car. He's got his dog with him. His dog, a Cocker Spaniel named Tubby. And Tubby won't get out of the car.
Tubby, no.
First he walks away to film, and Tubby's in the car. That's what happens. And then... when he's trying to walk back to the car, he can't even get back to the car. He's like, this thing's going down. I need to crawl my ass out. He's calling for the dog.
Oh, no,
dog won't
Tubby,
come out.
No.
They get to the other end. Somebody then makes their way back to try and get Tubby out. Tubby bites the man, does not get out of the car.
Tubby.
Sadly, right after that person makes it back to the shore, the Tacoma Narrows Bridge plummets into the Sound.
Was Tubby the only...
Tubby was the only casualty. Okay. Tubby in the car.
Well, it could have been a lot worse. Poor Tubby. Maybe Tubby got saved by an octopus.
This bridge collapses. The wreckage of the Tacoma Narrows Bridge is still 200 feet below the surface of the water. It's still down there.
Yeah, where would it have gone?
Right? They didn't salvage it.
Yeah.
It's still down there where it has become a reef. It has become an artificial reef.
It's suddenly a whole bunch of little crevices and places that creatures can live in.
They built a new bridge over.
Did they pick a different spot?
Yeah, and it's in the same spot.
Oh, okay.
It goes right over where the old one was.
Hopefully a little different design.
Hopefully. Yeah, well, so what they figured out the problem was, and Moisef then dedicates like the rest of his life, which is only another 3 more years before a heart attack takes him out. But the rest of it, he's trying to figure out what went wrong.
Yeah, this is on him.
No, he feels guilty about it. He's like, what? Even though like only a dog died, but still. It could have been really bad. It could have been much worse.
Oh, yeah.
Also, it's $11 million they're never getting back.
That too.
And so it's like, what went wrong? And it's because of this. This is why all bridge designs going forward were tested in wind tunnels. They'd make a scale model and put it in a wind tunnel.
I wonder what scale you'd need to get good physics. Because you'd have to get a pretty large version to do it, but then a wind tunnel's only so big. That's interesting.
They did some stuff before it came down where they were trying to mitigate some of the vibrations, and nothing worked, obviously. There's famous footage of it collapsing. Recently, a new angle just came out. Somebody found footage of a different angle of it collapsing.
I mean, it's not like everybody had cameras on their phones back then, or even phones on their pockets back then, so that's pretty remarkable.
But what they caused the collapse was partly that design. The design did not allow air to pass through, so it just kind of made like a solid...
It became a sail.
It became a sail, and the actual phenomenon is called aeroelastic fluttering. Now, an example of this is you take a piece of paper and you blow on it and it flaps. That's aeroelastic fluttering.
Oh, I don't have any paper here. I was going to demonstrate. You guys know what it is.
You're going to demonstrate a visual thing on an audio medium, Garth.
It's not only visual. You can hear it.
Oh, well, I wouldn't hold it that way.
I'm not going to
Anyway.
I probably shouldn't use an index card anyway. So what
happened is the wind started blowing over the roadbed. It causes it to do the aeroelastic fluttering. It's twisting, and eventually it reached a point where it just hit the right resonance, and the entire thing broke apart.
I think that's something for a lot of architects to consider building big things is once you get a vibration happening, it can compound in anything, including a man-made structure. So, poor Tubby.
So then it becomes a, like I said, artificial reef. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that really likes living in this reef is the giant Pacific octopus.
Oh, yeah. They love getting into little crevasses.
Now, the giant Pacific octopus is fascinating. And I'm sure this is all going to get to tree octopus because now we're at least on octopus.
You know, I'm feeling confident that we're getting there.
Yes.
And I love octopus. We could just talk about octopuses for an hour.
So the giant Pacific octopus, Enteroctopus dofleini. Sorry,
Enteroctopus dofleini?
Yes. The species name dofleini is actually named after another naturalist. The guy who first describes them is this German guy, and then he names them after a friend of his. But it is the largest octopus in the world. And they're actually spread out pretty fucking far, basically along all the shores of the Pacific Ocean, starting in like just around Baja, California, all the way up the coast of North America, along the Aleutian Islands, and then all the way down through
like
Asia,
Japan,
the Sea of Japan, and then their furthest extent is just south of the Korean Peninsula.
No kidding. Wow. Do they go in the middle of the ocean too, or they're all around the coast?
What you would call pelagic. Which is the deep ocean. They are non-pelagic.
Okay, so they're just around that
shallow shores.
Got it.
Because they like little rocky crevices and holes and caves.
They're no squid. They're not deep sea squid. They're on the surface.
So of course the Puget Sound and the Salish Sea, they fucking love it.
Oh yeah, it's all shallow. There's this.
Yeah.
Hey, I just found this broken down bits of a bridge. I could make a little home in here.
They said the deepest that you'll find them is about 6,000 feet or 2,000 meters, which is still pretty far.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
But they also like the colder waters. Apparently colder waters have more oxygen in them. More oxygenated.
That must be a chemical thing. Interesting.
Yeah, well, warmer liquids don't hold gases as well.
Okay, so
it's why a warm soda is flat, because it won't hold the carbonation.
I didn't know the temperature had anything to do with it. I've just figured that happened. Interesting.
So how big is this guy? He's the giant octopus. Well, how big is it? On average, the average one weighs about 15 kilograms or 33 pounds. An arm span of about 4.3 meters or 14 feet from tip to tip.
How big is the body? Like the size of a dog?
They're bigger than a...
They're
not quite yoga ball, but they're bigger than a basketball.
Between yoga ball and basketball, large beach ball.
Yeah, like a beach ball.
Large beach ball, okay.
Although the largest individual ever captured and measured weighed in at a surprising 272 kilograms or 600 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
And had a radial arm span of 9 meters or 30 fucking feet.
I had no idea octopi got that big.
That's the largest one ever documented. I mean, hasn't been seen since. One time.
There's a yoga ball for you.
Yeah, one time one was really big.
It would be a Twinkie 35 feet long, weighing approximately 600 pounds.
That's a big Twinkie.
Each sucker alone can lift or hold on to 16 kilograms or 35 pounds.
Holy cow. These are some strong guys.
They can move things 6 times their body weight.
Wow.
So imagine that.
Because those tentacles are all just muscle.
Yeah.
Wow.
Each tentacle also operates independently with its own brain.
I've heard they
have 9 brains.
So each tentacle can do a different thing. It's not like the central octopus has to be paying total attention because there's a little brain in each arm.
There is a central brain that kind of like is the control that sends out independent things.
Maestro.
Yes.
But each arm does its
operates
own thing.
fully independently.
Wow.
So also that they can move 6 times their body weight. So that 600-pound octopus is moving, what is that? Yeah. 36. Something.
Oh, are we doing math? Let's see.
6 times 6.
Oh, 36.
Yeah, 3,600 pounds. So it can move over a ton. They don't live very long, though. And they mature very rapidly. And after they reproduce, they die.
I think that's the case for all octopi.
They live about 4 years on average. So they grow really fast, though.
Yeah,
because when they start out, they are less than a centimeter long little pupa.
Yeah, and they're not raised by their moms because the moms die in the process of giving birth to the next generation.
Yeah, they make a little octopus's garden.
Yeah.
In a crevice, they hang all their eggs, thousands of eggs, and then she will spend the next several months not leaving the spot so that she can blow fresh water across them, oxygenated water, and move them with her tentacles. She caresses them and moves them around so they can, and she neglects to eat, and then at the end, she dies.
Did you ever see My Octopus Teacher?
No.
That's great. It's about an octopus this guy met and became friends with in South Africa. It's very good. I
watched a similar thing that was about a diver who befriends a giant octopus in the Puget Sound last night.
They are remarkable creatures. I got to see one at the Marine Lab, but that's an extension of UC Santa Cruz.
Oh,
what was it called?
Seymour
Science Center.
Yep.
Yeah, they have an octopus there. We went for my mom's birthday a couple weeks ago, and fascinating creatures.
They have one.
Oh my gosh.
They have a couple at the Monterey Bay Aquarium.
They do, yes.
I saw one at the Seattle Aquarium. They're amazing.
Well, and so radically different from most living creatures that you will meet because they don't have spines. They're like on a whole other evolutionary track. They're so alien.
The only hard part of their body.
They have a beak, I believe.
They have
right?
a beak. The beak and the radula that like all mollusks have. The radula, at least. And they can fit, as long as that beak can fit into a space, their entire body can squeeze through that space.
Yeah, they're so squishable. Even though they're like look really like floppy, they're all a very flexible muscle.
They can change colors and the texture of their skin. They can change their entire body's color in the fastest time a human can blink. Like literally the blink of an eye, they can change their type.
I've seen footage and it just it's just a whoosh.
And they do this because they have like 4 layers to their skin. So like it's every color change they're doing is that they are willfully and intentionally controlling 3 different layers of skin cells to achieve the color. And here's the other fucking crazy thing. They themselves are colorblind.
Well, that was actually what I was about to ask is, I mean, I know they have eyes, but like, where are they looking at the surface they're on to know what to replicate with their bodies?
They aren't looking. Their skin detects wavelengths of light. They see with their skin. So their eyes see.
Oh, that's fucking crazy.
Their eyes see, and then the skin itself absorbs spectrums of light, and then it knows, I need to copy that spectrum.
So they have photosensitive skin, but it's not eyes.
Yeah.
But it detects it. That's fucking crazy.
They are so fucking cool.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Insanely intelligent.
Yeah.
I watched a documentary where they capture one in the wild, they keep it for a year and then release it.
I remember seeing a story of one that like crept out of its tank and like snuck across because they can breathe outside of water. We'll get to that later. And like ate some fish and then like went back and put the lid back over its enclosure to hide the evidence of how it escaped.
So the documentary I watched was about an octopus named Eleanor that was kept in a research aquarium in the Puget Sound in this town of Port Townsend on, I think, the southern end of Whidbey Island. Shout out to the people who live there. I'm like, hey!
Shout out Port Townsend. There's somebody from there. Very excited.
Eleanor, they put through a series of tests over the span of a year, specifically trying to figure out how intelligent.
I'm glad they only kept her a year because they don't live very long.
4 years.
That's a long. Yeah. You don't want to take up her whole life with tests.
And the thing about Eleanor is that she actually recognized people.
Oh, that's interesting.
So there's those tentacles they have with all the little suction cups.
Yeah.
Those suction cups are also, each one is a sensory organ.
Okay.
That can taste.
But so she was recognizing by that, not by her eyes.
They think by both.
Oh, interesting.
Yes,
okay.
Because she also recognized the person later in a diving suit by tasting their skin.
So she could recognize
because they were completely obscure.
So she could recognize the taste of the skin both submerged in water and in the lab. Wow.
And she would seem to actually get excited when certain people would come into the lab, and recognize them, got really affectionate.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the hard part. It's like, well, we can't really get too affectionate with people. Yeah, there's actually a problem.
Yeah, well, and they're studying her, and they're going to release her, so they don't want to get her to.
They would do like various puzzles, mostly all food based. That's the best way to do it. Food.
Anytime you do a test on an animal, the reward is food.
Yeah. And so usually, like, can you open this container to get to the food? They were using mega blocks, which are like giant Legos, where they were freezing food in one of the pieces and then constructing things, and it was hidden somewhere in the thing.
So you just have to like take it apart and look.
Yeah, and how quickly she could figure out where it was, and then just focus in on that piece. Very intelligent, but they kind of have to be because they live so short. They have to like learn everything they're going to need to know to survive.
They don't
quickly.
take 20 years of school,
and they die before they can't learn it from other octopi.
That's true.
So if they were this smart and lived long enough to then teach other octopi, by this point,
they'd be taking over the world.
Yeah, after millions of years, there'd be subaquatic, civilizations of cephalopods.
Sure.
I'm convinced.
Oh, I'm sure.
If that was the case, because they're too fucking smart for their own good. Trying to think anything else before we move on from the giant octopus, because then we're almost to the actual important thing.
Well, other things about giant octopi might come up when we start to discuss, if they were to live in trees, how would that work?
One of the places in which they there's a large concentration of them is in that Hood Canal that I mentioned earlier, on the other side of the Kitsap Peninsula that separates Kitsap from the Olympic Peninsula and the Olympic National Park and the Olympic Mountains.
Okay.
But they also are hanging out in the Tacoma Narrows to the point where when they were constructing the Tacoma Narrows Bridge the first time, a worker claimed that he saw a 15-foot long tentacle come out of the water.
15 feet. That's a big one.
But as we found out...
Yeah, no, they get that big.
They could. Yeah, that's totally reasonable. That totally could happen. And there were reports in the Tacoma area going back to the 1800s of people tangling with octopi that would, like fishermen mostly.
Sure.
Because they want the food out of the net, or they want your...
there must be Kragan stories around there with tentacles and stuff.
Their favorite food is crab. So they raid crabbers' pots, and that pisses off crabbers.
Crab is good. I get it.
And in 1961, in the Tacoma Narrows, there was a giant octopus wrestling competition.
What?
Where the thing was like young boys swam out into the Tacoma Narrows, found a giant octopus, and then wrestled it ashore, and whoever had the biggest octopus was the winner.
That's heavy duty, man.
Right?
Don't get they get really big.
Do they attack people?
I don't.
Not habitually. It seems like if they did, it's just because they're curious.
Or if you were attacking them and trying to wrestle them. Yeah.
But because of their intelligence and the fact that their sensory organs have their own brain, they're always investigating things.
Sure.
And so the danger that they pose to, say, a diver is they might inadvertently rip your face mask or breathing apparatus out.
They put their tentacles on your...
Yeah. That beak I mentioned, though, has an incredible bite force because it bites through crab shells. It also is venomous.
No kidding.
When they attack the crabs, they bite into their shell, and at the same time, a neurotoxin is injected into the crab, which kills it almost instantly.
Would that happen to a person if it bit a person?
No, it would just be extremely painful, and they'd take a huge fucking chunk out of you.
Wow.
So you probably might need stitches. Yeah.
Wow.
And extremely painful. Now, other octopi, like the blue ring octopus, which is very small, is one of the most toxic creatures on Earth.
Oh.
Definitely can kill a human being.
Oh,
very
interesting.
easily.
Okay.
Many times over in a single bite. So we got these giant octopus.
Okay.
They're hanging out down there in the wreckage of Galloping Gertie. So they rebuilt the Tacoma Narrows Bridge.
Okay.
In 1998, an artist who goes by the name Lyle Zapato, we don't know their real name. That seems to be a
Lyle
pseudonym.
Zapato. Okay.
Lyle Zapato, who lives in Tacoma, is driving over the Tacoma Narrows Bridge.
Lyle Shoe.
Lyle Shoe.
Zapato.
Oh, yeah. Driving over the Tacoma Narrows Bridge into the Kitsap Peninsula. And while they're doing so, their imagination is running wild, and they're thinking about these giant Pacific octopus. And he realizes this very comical, surreal situation where the octopi are probably crossing the Narrows using the wreckage of a bridge below him.
Oh, yeah.
While he crosses above them on a bridge, both doing the same thing in a sense, but neither aware of each other.
That's kind of beautiful.
And he thought, but what if there was another layer above with octopi?
Oh, extrapolate that up.
He's like, what if there were octopi above us we could look up and watch them move across?
Yeah.
Thus, the idea, the seed is there. This is the idea he has for the North Pacific Tree Octopus.
All right.
And he decides, this is an idea that's too good to keep to myself. And we'll explain what happens next. But first...
I did a dig for bones.
Which octopi do not have.
Dig for... I think maybe there's beaks. We could find some beaks.
The following is a dispatch from Pod Free Sequoidea. Hey everybody, back with another dose of support and information to keep you going as the struggle continues. Today I wanted to talk about a few very simple ways that you can resist and do something proactive. But first, I want to address two types of people who play a role in a fascist regime: collaborators and enablers. In this case, a collaborator is not another artist or podcaster who does a guest spot. A collaborator is a person, business, or organization which proactively participates with a dictatorship or totalitarian government. They do this through policies, business practices, financial contributions, and material assistance. They do so in hopes that their bootlicking will be rewarded. Next is the enabler. An enabler is a person that passively participates in the regime by patronizing the collaborators, and in doing so, rewards their collaboration through implied consent. Most do so unconsciously and through course of habit or routine, and possibly through plain convenience. The banality of evil, some may call it. The simplest way that you can resist the current anti-democratic and fascist practices of this oligarchical regime is to boycott collaborators and enablers. It's just that simple. If a business is a collaborator, do not patronize them. Ultimately, fascism is a capitalistic system, and the language that capitalists understand is money and profit. If enough people boycott collaborators and enablers, it will have an economic impact, and that is unfortunately one of the very few things that they will notice. The boycott and the strike are two of the most powerful weapons that the citizenry has at our disposal, if you don't count pitchforks. But we're not going to talk about those right now. A simple search of companies that support ICE or the president's agenda will give you a good list to start from, and you can begin to avoid those collaborators. A general good guideline is to prioritize or patronize small local businesses within your community, especially those that are minority owned. Give those being targeted by hatred your business rather than money to those that profit from that hatred. Further, you should never cross a picket line, and when the time comes for a national general strike, it is your moral imperative to participate. As I said the last time, we will get through this together, but only by staying together. Salvation comes from solidarity. United we stand, divided we fall. And I will end this dispatch with a little piece of redwood wisdom from the heart of Sequoidea. The chopping block might think that it is safe from the axe and fire because it is useful to the wood splitter. But when the wood runs out and the night is cold, even the chopping block gets split and burnt. Same to collaborators, same to enablers. Now keep each other safe, take care of yourselves, and be that light in the darkness. This is Cody Cricket for Pod Free Sequoidea, signing off. We at the Least Haunted Podcast stand with those of the LGBTQIA+ community and especially want to voice our support for the trans community, masculine, feminine, non-binary, and every other of the beautiful assortment of people who are going through so much vitriol and hate in these difficult times.
We welcome you to join our friendly and supportive Discord, and if you want to help support the community or need help yourself, we fully endorse the Trans Lifeline at translifeline.org. We can get through this together.
You are all deserving of life and love. And remember,
the world is more beautiful with you in it.
Well, golly geez, such bones, weren't they? Weren't they? Those were such beaks. Little octobeaks.
I just realized, like, just, in case it wasn't clear, I had to explain all that preamble about the formation of the Puget
You're
Sound.
so apologetic. I don't understand this.
Well, I had to start there because it explains the formation of the sound, which is the perfect ideal habitat for the octopi.
Yeah.
Which then leads to all the other stuff. Yeah.
I completely followed that.
And then it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
thus
absolutely.
necessitating a bridge. Thus
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
it all perfectly one dovetails into the other very nicely. They're all needed.
Fucking is never done this to me.
What happened? Did we lose anything? Oh God!
No, we didn't lose anything.
Okay.
No, what's never happened before?
I'm always terrified we're gonna lose the show.
No, what's never happened before is Snopes has never been behind a paywall, but now it is.
Oh God, really?
Yeah. Allow ads or subscribe. If you allow ads, make sure you disengage your ad blocker. I was like, I just had this article open.
Snopes. Oh no.
Yeah.
One of the few things left on the internet. I guess you can just do ads, but I fucking
that's what I'm
hate
doing.
ads.
But it keeps my ad blocker kicks in and then it redirects.
You can turn off your ad blocker.
I don't want to turn off my ad.
Well, I don't either.
Yeah. So okay, well, fuck him. Well, Snopes is out then. It was just one of the things that I had used earlier to validate a date, but it doesn't matter. We have a primary source, so fuck them.
Fuck them.
Okay, so Lyle Zapata has this idea about arboreal octopus.
What is he going to do with this? There certainly aren't trees all across the bridge.
No. So the year is 1998.
Right.
Right? The internet.
It's just starting.
It's the early internet.
Do you remember this? I remember this.
Dude, I logged in on dial-up in 1996.
Wow, early adopter. Look at you.
Yes.
That was back when you could go like just make up a word.com
Yeah.
and it didn't exist.
Oh, yeah,
Because
yeah.
there was nothing on the internet
Also,
yet.
like, porn wasn't on there yet, so you're a naughty kid and just search nakedladies.com. Didn't exist yet.
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing. I remember you could go to art.com and there were old pinup girls.
Oh.
Yeah, this is like
I mean,
1996.
but yeah, people back then, like, you know, it's playground. You don't know what to do with it, so you end up with things like the hamster dance.
The hamster dance. I remember Muppet Treasure Island had a pretty good website.
I think the first movie...
They had like a coloring book you could print out.
I think we've talked about that before, I think. And also the very first, like, movie to have a website was Independence Day in 1994.
That's right.
Not Independence Day, Stargate.
Galaxy Quest was an early one. They never updated it, but it's still up, I believe.
Well, this website... started in 1998, the Pacific Northwest Tree Octopus on Zapatopi.
Is this the website you sent me, Cody?
Zapatopi? Yeah, .com. I like that it's Zapatopi because he's Zapato and it's an octopi.
That's awesome.
Also, for the record, octopus and octopi are both correct.
Octopuses?
Octopuses
Okay.
and octopi are both correct, although one is more correct than the other because of Greek and Latin. But
Are you
both
telling me
accepted.
that all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than the others?
Did you read the wall? It's up on the wall. Deep cut.
Yeah, so this is the one that you sent me, zapatopi.net.
Yes. .net.
And it's still going.
And it still looks like it did in 1998.
It has this great retro look to it.
Yeah, which I think I really want to go for a retro look for our website.
You know what?
design.
Yes, we're going to discuss that. This is pretty damn good.
Yeah. Okay.
Web 2.0. 1.0.
So he creates an entire, like we were doing with our tree squid. He like thinks out all the biology of it
That's great.
and creates a website that purports it to be a real creature.
I've only looked at like the media because that's what I'm doing for Garth's Corner, but I'm just going to look at the general website here.
So the top says, help save the endangered Pacific Northwest tree octopus from extinction.
Yeah.
I'll just read you the first paragraph from the website.
Wow, the most recent thing on his log was from 3 days ago.
Oh, no,
So
he still updates. Oh, it's still updated.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That's crazy.
So, according to the front page of the website, the Pacific Northwest tree octopus, Octopus paxorbalis, can be found in the temperate rainforest. Oh, should I do it as the prospector?
Yeah, please. Please. We haven't seen the prospector in a little while.
Lucky.
Lucky. Hey, Lucky, quit panning for gold over there. Come on over here.
All right, hold on. The Pacific Northwest Tree Octopus, or Octopus paxorbalis, can be found in the temperate rainforests of the Olympic Peninsula on the west coast of North America. Their habitat lies on the eastern side of the Olympic mountain range, adjacent to the Hood Canal. These solitary cephalopods reach an average size, measured from arm tip to mantle tip, of 30 to 33 centimeters.
Oh, okay.
Oh, they're doing it metric. Unlike most other cephalopods, tree octopuses are amphibious, spending only their early life and the period of their mating season in their ancestral aquatic environment. Because of the moistness of the rainforests and the specialized skin adaptations, they are able to keep from becoming desiccated for prolonged periods of time.
That was my big question for later in the episode. Solved.
But given the chance, they would prefer resting in pooled water.
Uh-huh.
And then it goes on from there. I don't know what the copyright legalities of me just reading this verbatim.
Something tells me Zapato is going to be all right. Just, it says serving the paranoid since 1997. Wow.
Now, he puts up, there's a map of its range.
This is great.
But according to his map and range, they're not in the Tacoma Narrows or that part of the Puget Sound. They are mostly south of Whidbey Island, north of Seattle, and then way down into that Hood Canal.
I'm looking for the range here, but I don't want to derail the podcast.
And they go down the Hood Canal, but then they are on the eastern slopes of the Olympic Mountains in Olympic National Park, according to him.
In the wettest areas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But then he takes it an extra step, because he's presenting this as we need to save this endangered creature. Mm-hmm. Now, in the 1990s...
that was save the whales, save the...
Yes.
Yeah, well, and 80s, but yeah, lots of environmentalists.
A lot of environmentalism in the late 90s. A lot of pushes to save endangered animals because people still gave a shit that we were... It was almost like we could still say, hey, look, we're fucking up the environment, and people were still like willing to like, oh, okay. And now it's like...
Yeah, well, the people still do. It's just we care about a million things at once here. We are stretched thin like butter scraped over too many apocalypses.
But then he starts outlining why it's endangered and giving it a complete history of its battle against the logging industry. So now it's endangered because of, Paul Bunyan.
Paul Bunyan, the mortal enemy of the tree
The logging
squid.
industry. See, it's all connected, Gar.
It's great.
It's all connected. The idea was that these tree octopuses, because they're up in the trees, they would gum up chainsaws.
Because they're cutting through the octopuses?
Or they'd be still in the trees when it went into the sawmill and they would like gum everything up.
Sure, because they're all blubbery.
Or their ink would contaminate the pulp mills for paper.
Now, do octopi also produce ink?
Yes.
Okay. I knew squids did. I didn't know about octopuses.
They spray ink as well.
Okay.
Also, I forgot to mention, they're solitary except for when they mate. Otherwise, they're on their own.
Okay. Same would go for a tree octopus.
Now, their natural predators, besides loggers and Paul Bunyan, include the bald eagle and Sasquatch.
Okay, why not?
Right?
Yeah.
So Sasquatch is in there.
I wonder if Sasquatch cooks them first.
I don't know. He comes up with a few other...
Has Sasquatch discovered fire?
I don't think so.
Okay, we got to move on.
Yeah. Okay, so he comes up with several other connected species or closely related species, including the Douglas octopus after the Douglas fir.
Ah, nice.
And the red ring madrona sucker, or the madrone tree octopus.
So there are different variations of these arboreal octopuses that prefer certain trees.
Yes.
So each tree has its own octopus.
And here's the interesting thing. If you've ever seen a Douglas fir, most people have probably seen them as your Christmas tree every year. But when they get big, they can grow big bulbous burls on them, right?
Yes.
Well, they're rough. Mm-hmm. That's just a camouflage tree octopus.
Oh.
Or on the madrone tree. The twisted burls on the madrone tree.
Change their texture to look like the bark.
Yes.
Ah.
They camouflage.
Those wily
themselves.
arboreal octopi.
He also creates fake historical documents to try and add credibility.
Oh, this is great.
So there is a a parody cover of the Saturday Evening Post, but it's a fictional magazine that never existed called the Cascadia Evening Post.
Nice.
And it's a picture of a woman with a hat that has an octopus on the hat. And
is it Norman Rockwell looking?
Yes.
Great.
And the thing is that, see, apparently in the 1920s, the fashion craze for bird feathers and hats was already driving certain bird species to the edge of extinction.
Yeah, the hats were getting ridiculous.
So the new fashion trend was you had to have an arboreal octopus on your hat, a dead octopus.
This is one of the main things that led to their being endangered.
Yes.
How would you dry that out? Because it's octopus tentacle.
You'd do some kind of plastiquing. I mean, they do it. I mean, there's wet specimens that are being dried.
Is that how they do it? They put it in plastic?
You soak it in chemicals and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Be heavy for a hat.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, these tree octopi, though, did attack people more often. Oh, no, there was a fear. Everybody had the loggers. Basically, the loggers went on a whole propaganda campaign to turn everybody against the tree octopus so they could, yeah.
Great. Yeah. Okay.
So then the website gives you a bunch of ideas of here's things you can do, how you can help the octopus. And some of them, though, were I'll get into some of them are pretty tongue-in-cheek and silly.
Mm-hmm. No kidding, really?
Yeah. He goes through a whole thing of what are they called in other languages? And so he goes to the trouble of finding how would you...
What would tree octopus be in Spanish?
Yeah, exactly.
In French.
So it's Spanish, Popol arboricola.
Uh-huh.
In Dutch, boom octopus. Danish, tre blacksprute. Emojian, made of emojis.
Emojis,
which is
the octopus and tree. I guess
it's a picture of a tree, an octopus, and then for some reason the exponent 2, it's squared. I don't know why.
The two together.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Esperanto, arbapolpo. French, pieuvre arboricole or pulpe d'arbre. In German, Baumkrake. And then even
Baumkrake.
But then the funny one,
that's my favorite.
In Sasquatch, it's I don't know. It's a bunch of random symbols that I don't know. And he also has it in Yeti.
Slight variation from the Sasquatch.
But then they give you he has actually have some real information on there. Because somebody's well, aren't rainforests only in the tropics? And then he explains, no, it's a temperate rainforest, right?
Mm-hmm. There are temperate rainforests. I think we live in technically a temperate rainforest.
And then it's can I visit? Then can I visit the Olympic National Park? Yeah, go visit it. And it gives you, and go see the octopuses for yourself.
Right on.
And then this is my favorite one. Why are Sasquatch allowed to gather tree octopuses if the octopus is endangered? Mm-hmm. No one allows Sasquatch to do anything. They just do it. And then
that's the answer right
there.
That
Sasquatch have been gathering tree octopuses since before humans, so it's just they're the natural.
Yeah, they would have a special reprieve. I think that makes.
Can
sense.
I have a pet tree octopus? No. Tree octopuses are wild animals and would not live long in captivity, easily succumbing to sorrow. Then they yearn to swing freely, tentacle over tentacle, through the mossy branches of the temperate rainforest, self-reliant, no one their master, at one with their coniferous home.
We never
Also, they're impossible to keep on a leash.
They'll slip right out. We never did speak about how they perambulate through the trees. They're swinging. Do you think they swing sideways, just cartwheeling constantly?
No. He actually comes up with a word for it, which is tentaculation, which is he describes it as in apes, arboreal primates, there's different modes of locomotion, how they move.
Okay.
And one that's typical for arboreal primates is called brachiation.
And
brachiation is the monkey bar, basically, to swing.
Yeah, that's the classic monkey swinging through the trees.
Tentaculation. It is using tentacles to brachiate.
Do they? But you just use 2, or do they just?
I think they use whatever.
Dude,
they've got 8.
Yeah, they got 8 brains. They can coordinate. It's probably beautiful to watch this.
Yeah. What percentage of profit from tree octopus products sold on this site goes to support protecting the species? The answer: None. And then this is the greatest reason.
Yeah.
Tree octopuses don't need your money. They need your love and willingness to write angry letters to the editor demanding action. Regardless.
I love that it's not a money making campaign to save the octopus. The money won't help. We just need angry letters.
I'm going to read the next few just kind of as they are because it is so funny, so fucking creative. The follow-up. Regardless, I would like to donate money to help the tree octopus. How can I do this? If you must give money to ease your conscience, donations to help the tree octopus should be given directly to the tree octopuses. Here's how to donate. Travel to the Olympic Peninsula. If you're a minor, ask your parents first. Stand in the tree octopus's forest near a tree and hold out a dollar bill. If you stand still long enough, eventually a tree octopus will come by on a branch, reach out, and take the bill with her suckers. She will continue to return for more bills as long as you hold them out. So bring lots of singles. She will use them to line her den in the trees.
Bring lots of singles.
As the bills will soak up rainwater and keep her skin moist.
Wonderful.
Given the current value of the dollar, this is the most cost-effective way to help. Please note, don't give them coins. While they are attracted to shiny objects and will gladly take coins, the toxic metals in coins, especially copper, can easily absorb into their skin and poison them. Paper money, checks, stock certificates, coupons, etc. are preferable. Now, here's the interesting thing, though. The thing about copper is true.
Oh, okay.
So
I love all the science integrated into this mythology.
So one of my favorite things I ever learned about cephalopods and snails and mollusks, they have copper-based blood. We have iron-based blood, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So their blood is green. It's copper-based.
Okay.
When their viscous membranes touch copper, it gives them a painful shock in the same way that if you have a metal filling and you've ever touched it with foil, you get that same experience. So if you are trying to keep slugs out of your garden,
coins,
or you don't want them going into your vegetable plant, just put a little piece of copper wire around it.
No kidding.
They'll touch that and it'll act like an electric fence.
And they get away. Wow, that is a
no
very
need
good
to
note.
kill them. No need to drown them in bowls of beer and shit like that. Copper.
I love that.
But it gets rid of the slugs, but it will attract meth heads who are going to raid your garden.
Yeah, well, and I want to attract the banana slugs, so I wouldn't want to hurt a banana slug with copper.
Then last is... I'm a student, and my teachers are trying to convince me that tree octopuses are not real. Why are they doing this? Your teachers have been misled by anti-tree octopus propaganda from the conspiracy textbook publishers. The book publishing industry consumes 30 million trees a year. Many of these trees come from logging activity in the Olympic Peninsula. See where it goes? And so you bring in this other aspect.
It's great.
But it's all tongue-in-cheek. It's very funny. There's a whole tab for sightings where people send in pictures of things that look like it's like a mossy covered burrow that looks like a tree octopus, or really bad photoshops, and some it's just a toy octopus hanging from a tree. But the thing is that he actually takes the time to address each one, like, oh, that's a great example, yes.
Now, in the larger scope of things, because this was established in the very early internet, has it become a thing outside of this guy's website?
Yes.
Interesting. And based on this, he invented the idea. Okay.
He has other things you can do. Tree octopus activities. A special little box that's it's a pattern, a PDF that you make. It's almost like the trick or treat for UNICEF, but you're specifically you're getting candy treats for the tree octopus. Their favorite candy is candy corn, and their favorite food is shrimp. So
I see why you like these guys so much.
You can also
candy corn.
There's also a pattern on how to build a tree octopus box, which is like a bat box for them to live in, all kinds of things.
Just keep it wet.
Yeah. Well, here's the funny thing where it then moves on is that as this spread on the internet, this is an early example of when people actually believe things they read on the internet.
Someone took this website seriously.
Yes.
Wow. What a moron.
This is why I'm pissed that my Snopes tab closed, those fuckers, because it actually had a citation to a study that was done at a university where they took 25 seventh graders, and this was done recently. This isn't even like back in the day. This is recently.
Oh, this is interesting.
They took 25 seventh graders and had them look through sapotipie.net and then
see if their bullshit detector
and then ask
went
them,
off,
is this credible? 24 of the 25 said they thought it had reliable, credible information.
Oh, that is depressing. Oh, boy.
Yeah. And that was despite the fact that it has frequent mentions to Sasquatch, and also I didn't get to it, but somewhere there's also a talk about the mountain walrus that apparently lives in the Olympic Peninsula.
I hope some of those kids just thought it was so funny that they're like, I like this, so I believe, like, Oh, that is very unfortunate if that many.
So that's
kids
why we
got
bring it up as a
bamboozled.
case study.
Yeah.
Because research has been done specifically using this website as an example for people believing things on the internet. Although Lyle Zapata on the website himself, there is one of those questions about somebody asks, is this real? And he says, why would somebody with a website lie to you?
That's a good. He's not showing his hand because the whole idea is he's making. But that's great. That's a really good answer.
So
God,
this is the crux of it. This is the point that critical thinking and analysis is very important because you can have things that are very obviously to you and I, tongue-in-cheek, facetious.
That's the thing.
Humor.
It's kind of like when your humor is satire, and not everyone gets the satire.
Yes. And this idea that people just believe things if it's on the internet. This is a credible source. Well, how do you define what is a credible source? And then, he's got historical documents. He's got pictures from the 1920s, and now here we are today. Add to that AI. Today with AI generating these images, there will come a point, if we haven't already reached it, where people see these images and they don't even take the moment to really look at it. Yeah,
because they're just scrolling through. They're spending 2 or 3 seconds on it and they move on. And then in their minds, they store that as, I saw a thing.
Yeah.
They didn't take the time to look.
And then what happens if it's just something that's not as innocuous as, a delightful tree octopus?
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So this is all an example of, it's very interesting that we have very ancient geological forces that create an environment in a specific cultural context. A series of events that's important to one area that then inspires something else.
Everything is a metaphor. Wow,
then takes on a life of its own with people who do not get those contexts.
Yeah.
That's all of fucking human history. That's it.
Yeah,
that's all of
I
it.
feel like we've seen this over and over again now that you put it that way.
I think that's the new era that we're kind of moving into.
There's got to be a word for that.
Well, the new era of Least Haunted is this this recognition that, okay, for example,
it's sort of the meme thing.
Well, the slippery slope is, if you say a slippery slope in the idea of like morals or ethics, that's bad. That's it's a fallacy. The idea of a slippery slope, right?
Yeah.
But history very much is sort of a slippery slope of things that you don't foresee you can't see the outcome of these things and how it's going to manifest in weird ways. 19,000 years ago, there's a fucking glacier.
Who would have thought that would lead to this to lead to that?
Yeah. Right?
It's sort of.
And I know people are saying like, well, yeah, that's so arbitrary. You can tie any two things together if you really tried.
That's true. That's true. That's
conspiracy theories 101, right?
Yeah.
I think
But you're not conspiracy theorizing here. You're just you're noticing the pattern.
Yes.
It's kind of a poetic way
like
that
this
these two
caused
things are
this,
similar.
caused that.
Yeah.
And here we are. The Zapatopie.net was one of the first 30 websites entered into the Library of Congress as significantly culturally important to the development of the internet.
When did they determine that was the case? I wonder when that was added.
That was
because you wouldn't know for a few years. You'd have to kind of look back retroactively.
This is like within the last. This
that.
is within like the last decade, I think.
Okay, I must have seen this website at some point. The logo looks familiar with the the logo is an octopus with all of its little tentacles sticking out around the circle that it's in, with little shoes on the end of each tentacle because it's a land octopus.
They also have a parody of those ribbons, those awareness ribbons, but it's a tentacle that's twisted around.
Nice.
So the Pacific Northwest Tree Octopus is it's fun.
Before we jump into people taking it seriously and anything else about it, shall we do Garth's Corner?
I was wrapping up mine, so we could go to Garth's Corner.
Okay, cool. Because Cody sent me this morning, you sent me a couple days ago. Yeah. I finally got to doing my Garth's Corner research this morning, and you sent me a link to a portion of this website that goes through octopuses in media, tree octopi in media.
Yeah, because he, in addition to just like making this up, like I said, there's also stuff on this website that is actually factual.
Well, that's what I was going to say. All of this, he didn't make any of this list up. He has an extensive extensive list of times that
Because,
octopi have been
it's the same thing. Like,
have been in media.
Yeah, when going back to our episode about the cryptid for the year, I said that I had this idea that I thought was original.
Because you invented the tree octopus.
The tree squid.
Or the tree squid.
I thought that was an original idea. And then I come to find out that no, somebody else had the same idea. So in the same way, he thought he was having an original idea. And it turns out, I mean, because humanity has been encountering octopus for ever. You know?
And how crazy and weird they are. Imagine them in a new context.
Go back to our Kraken episode. Yeah. We talk about, depictions of octopi in ancient art. So of course somebody's going to ask the question, what if on land? And now,
so in this Gart's Corner, we'll be talking about how he did not invent the idea of a tree octopus, and it's been around for a very long time. So we'll of course start with a Gart's Corner song. Hey, Mary Ellen. What you got there? Oh, hey there, Garth, it's a corner for you. Did you find it in old Pulp Fiction? Does it resonate a century later? No, I found it in fictitious pulp whence it doth resonate lo these 10 decades hence. Showeth this throwback print to me, if you please. I see it's called Amazing Stories, so amaze me, if you please. There are 3 things that inspire Garth's Corner. One is a thing that I hear about, just going about my day. I'm like, oh yeah. Another is Cody gives me a suggestion. And the third is the cosmic octopus with its wandering tentacle, locomoted with fortitude by Mary Ellen. So we'll explore this, and along with a lot of other historical tree-dwelling octopi in this Garth's Corner. Welcome to Garth's Corner. So this list is long. As we said, this is at zapatopi.net, and if you want to go straight to this part, it's /treeoctopus/media.html. So it's a long list. I picked out a few of my favorites here, and we can just discuss those. There's some good ones here. Now, again, he did not make these up. These are an actual lists of fiction and things like that have tree octopuses. Because
in almost 30 years of running this website, he just collected this. Yeah, he's obviously like finding out about, it's real stuff.
One of the more recent ones was in 2015, the novel Arrival, which they made a movie based on Arrival, had octopuses in it. And apparently they never really talked about this in the movie, but according to the novel, the cephalopod aliens back on their home world would swing through jungle canopies. They were tree octopuses. Yeah. Did you ever see the movie Arrival?
I did. I liked it because it is the only movie.
Fantastic.
It's the only movie I've ever seen where the entire plot is contingent on basically a long explanation of an idea in anthropology and social sciences called the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis of language.
It's just linguists trying to communicate. That's the entire damn movie. And then there's like a
spoilers.
Sorry. It's good. It's good. You can bleep that out and just say spoilers.
Yeah, watch the movie.
Another one. This is a book you turned me on to, Nation by Terry Pratchett. Great book. There are tree climbing octopuses in that one.
He does it again in another one of his books.
Yeah. Let's see. In that one, it said they're hard to pull off if they land on your head, and never let them think you're a coconut because they have sharp beaks. So great book, Nation. It's a really good one. Way back now, I'm skipping several. I just picked a few.
This year
we have Captain Future and the Space Emperor, which was a story written in 1940. It's a pulp story by Edmund Hamilton, which includes tree octopi that flit like white ghosts through the fronds of the tree fern jungles of Jupiter. Captain Future and the Space Emperor. Great. Cool. A few years before that, 1936, you have a Japanese animated short film called The Monkey Feet, which includes a bunch of tree octopuses. And here's a little gif of those guys.
Yeah, look at them go.
And let's see. Before that, we have 1928, La Pieuvre, which is French for The Octopuses, a short surrealist documentary by Jean Painlevé. Opens with an octopus climbing down from a tree. It's an old surreal film. And then this one, The Octopus Cycle from Amazing Stories. This was the link from what you sent me.
Yeah.
And let's see. That was 1928, a pulp story about tiring octopuses. And the cover's great. It's definitely of its time, the pretty bad caricaturization of black people. But
because Africa's invaded by octopi?
Yeah, yes. But other than that, the artwork is pretty cool. And it also has stories by H.G. Wells and Edgar Allan Poe in that in that one. And that was from 1928. And then we have in the 1600s, there was a poet named Nishivama Soin who talked about a wisteria growing on a pine tree, like an octopus climbing a tree. Here's the translation. Wisteria on pine, a tree octopus climbs. There's a spectacle. We have Life on the South Isles, 1876. Reverend William Wyatt Gill includes the earliest written record of a Polynesian tree octopus. I don't know if he was making it up. I mean, he was. They don't exist, but yeah, he recorded that. That's 1876. We have, what's this called? Haliuketa from the 100s. So almost 2,000 years ago, an epic poem of fishing off of by Oppian and Coricus, which has a passage about a Greek octopus's love of olive trees. But Naturalis Historia, which is by Pliny the Elder from 77. I believe BCE.
80.
Or AD.
Oh, yeah.
Or yeah, CE.
Yeah, he died.
Tells the tale of a Spanish octopus that used a tree to steal a pickled fish.
Fun fact, Pliny the Elder died at the eruption of Mount Vesuvius.
He witnessed it, I believe.
Yeah, and then he was
or maybe it was the younger that witnessed it?
Well, they were both there. The elder
was the father of the younger.
He was some relation. He was killed by volcanic gases.
Damn, I didn't know
on the
that.
beach. Yeah, waiting for ships to come rescue them.
Russian River has Pliny the Elder. It's a beer, and once a year they come out with Pliny the Younger, which is very sought after.
And that's why we call such eruptions of that style a Plinian eruption.
No kidding, based on that. Because, he did a very good description of Mount Vesuvius, Pliny the Elder. Let's see. In music, the Pacific Northwestern Tree Octopus, No More Monkey Business, 2025 by the Hemoglobins, is an album that is available. And there's also a Tree Octopus rock opera from 2012 by Crochet Cat Paws from their album Cool Teeth. So, there you go. There's a bunch of octopi in literature. Before I wrap up this Garth Corner, I did look into breathing air, and we basically covered this already.
Yeah.
Can octopi survive outside of the water? More than you'd think. They can kind of breathe the air as long as they stay wet. So, from what I found, they can. You can see video online in tide pools. Octopi will climb up and walk around in the air, and they can hold their breath essentially for a little while. But as long as they stay wet, they can actually kind of breathe. They breathe through their skin. So they do have gills, but they can also absorb oxygen through the skin.
Yeah, they got a big siphon that's always pulling water in and pushing water out to blow fresh.
There is a way to do that. So theoretically, you have to be in such a rainforest that it's raining all the time and so misty that you're at 100% humidity.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't take much for an octopus to evolve to be able to do that.
Well, we live in a temperate rainforest.
We do.
And we have a record-holding mollusk.
We have the banana slug.
Yeah, the banana slug.
The UC Santa Cruz mascot. They're all over.
And they don't dry out because they're covered in a mucosa. They got a bunch of mucus.
So if you had a octopus that was able to develop a way to have mucosa, you just have an octopi just squirreling around.
According to Sequoidea, they start out, they breed in the Hood Canal, and then they leave and come to land, at which point they become almost purely, they're like unable to then breathe again underwater until they go back to breed.
Oh, interesting.
But they will go soak themselves in little streams to get some extra moisture.
Yeah, the moisture is the real battle and why they don't go on land.
No, in the redwood trees here, I mean, you would get that coastal fog in the summertime that would keep them.
Yeah. If they could, I mean, if a banana slug could do it, they can do it. I believe in them. I really want them to come on land.
Why would they bother though? They don't want anything we got to offer them. They're much better down there.
Probably you're right. So what is it about? Just getting broader here. What is it about octopi that are so compelling? I mean, there's lots of sea creatures. Why octopi?
Well, because they seem so alien.
Yeah. That's my thought too.
Also, that like their intelligence that they have is just incredible to think about how smart they are, their problem-solving skills. It definitely has made me reevaluate if I'm ever going to eat calamari again, both octopi and the squid.
I'm kind of off calamari because of this, and my vegetarianism is so selective and inconsistent because I eat fish.
Yeah.
So I'm actually pescatarian, and like fish have feelings. Yeah. I don't care what Nirvana says; it's true, but I do eat them. So. And then I'm not going to eat an octopus because they're just so smart. Like, is that my criteria for whether or not? So that seems weird, but I don't eat chickens either, and they're dumb as hell.
Yeah, like I don't know.
But I don't think I could eat an octopus.
I very rarely will eat pork. I tend to avoid it, and most of that was because I watched a pig at the fair trying to unlatch its own pen, which meant that it understood that device opened the gate, and to have that level of a abstract connection and understanding is like, okay, pigs
are as intelligent as dogs.
Yeah,
or just
more so in some cases.
Yeah, I've met some dumb dogs. And smart pigs.
Some pig that'll do. Pig.
And the octopuses are 9 times as smart because they've got eight legs.
That'll do squid.
That'll do squid.
Yeah, it's
they're so. I think so. This is interesting. It's like I was saying at the beginning of the episode. If you look at all the tree of life of all the animals that exist, they are. Our common ancestor with octopi and squids and mollusks it goes way back.
Yeah.
They branched off. I mean, they don't have spines. They're not vertebrates.
Yeah.
They're completely other creatures. I mean, they're not trees. They're not mushrooms. They are like animals, but there's so much less in common. They are symmetrical mirror wise. They got a left and right.
Yeah.
And they have eyes, but much beyond that, and they're like a whole other thing. You look at most animals, and you can kind of imagine what it'd be like to be a dog. Like, okay, well, that's shaped.
It's still a mammal.
It has a skeleton, and you can kind of warp a human to be a dog. I can imagine being a dog.
I'm just picturing Garth going through the Animorphs cover into a dog.
I loved Animorphs as a kid.
You got to create that picture now for the Tumblr of you morphing into a dog.
There's the cover. But you can kind of do that with most animals. Birds are harder, but you can imagine the wing. You know, all of these things. There's some way, but I cannot even start to imagine what it's like to have an octopus body, especially when they've got all those legs with their own brains, and yet they can recognize people and be so personal.
Yeah.
They're not like they're alien, but also relatable. They relate to people.
Yeah.
They can become friendly with people when they're that alien.
Yeah.
And that just makes them.
That's the thing. Like, just imagine.
I can't even wrap my head around.
Just
that.
Imagine what they could do if they lived longer than 4 years.
That's right. They're limited by this thing about the way they're stuck in the water. They don't train their young.
Yeah.
And they live a short time. But yeah, without that, they could be spacefaring by now. Yeah, the octopus is amazing.
There was a hypothetical, speculative future biology book, and then it was made into a TV special over 20 years ago called The Future is Wild.
I don't think I've heard of that.
The idea is a space probe revisits the Earth repeatedly in huge time intervals.
Does everybody evolve into crabs?
That's what really would happen. But eventually humans are gone. But one of the last things is there's arboreal squid. or octopi that are swinging through the branches, and then there's giant land squid
that
lumber around.
Wow, lumbering squid on land.
And then they also say that eventually it's going to be it's all going to be squid, it's cephalopods, and arachnids in the future. That's it.
That's it.
They survive.
I remember reading about this. I'm sure we've covered this in some episode about aliens, but I think it was like H.G. Wells or some early sci-fi writer writing about. He was sort of extrapolating human beings into what would we eventually evolve into, and it would be large-headed, small-bodied, basically describing your classic alien, like a gray. And I remember hearing that recently. I don't know if we ever touched on that, but that was the idea of where our common image of an alien comes from is a predicted human evolving.
Yeah. Oh, I know the book. I can see some of the images in my mind. Yeah. It's illustrated.
Yeah.
And it has a bunch of different human variations that, if you put them in this planet,
what would happen? Yeah.
Yeah. One looks like a giant hairy potato.
I mean, nowadays we don't know if humans will live for a few more decades. Everything feels like the whole world's about to blow up. It's felt like that since, the atomic age. But people are like, oh, well, will we still be around millions of years from now? Our descendants will be, hopefully, but they'll be evolved into a whole other thing.
Would you even want to be on this planet in a few million years if it keeps going the way it's going?
Oh, I think it'll equal out. I'm not sure I want to be here in a billion years because eventually the sun's going to get bigger and hotter, and it'll just dry out the Earth. We gotta be out of here by then, Cody.
You and me personally.
We got to get out of this place if it's the last thing we ever do.
I'm gonna make it through this eon if it kills me.
That's right.
Okay, well, there we go.
Squid, octopus, mollusk. Swinging through the
and
trees.
You now know not everything you would ever need to, but probably more than you ever. Provided you're not Ulysses Noman or somebody that lives there, you probably know more now about the Puget Sound and the Salish Sea than you did before.
I'm going to remember this next time I go up that way.
And you probably know more about, giant Pacific octopi than you ever knew.
If you ever see that bridge, just imagine the inverted upside down bridge under the water with little octopi going back and forth.
Big octopi
and doing their commute.
There actually is a local cryptid of the Tacoma named Gertie, which is said to be a giant octopus, like a giant octopus.
Giant. Okay.
Yeah, one of those big ones.
Right on.
Also, they only live 4 years. Think about that. That one that was
maybe this one didn't. It lived longer, so it just kept getting bigger.
Well, you think about that one that was 600 pounds.
Yeah.
It reached a size of 600 pounds and 30 feet across.
4 years.
In 4 years. Eating crabs. Lots of crabs. Crabs, shrimp, clams, mussels.
Well, that's going to have to be my diet. I got to get to be a big octopus. All right. Well, hey.
Okay. Well, our show runs on a diet of support. And
well, segued.
And a lot of that support comes from our patrons. One group of those patrons are our Monster Squadron Squatty patron producers, the Squatties. And they are a Cow's Upper Shoulder Roast, a.k.a. Chuck, Travis Alexander, the Bi Barbarian, Rachel Krieger, Tom Dahl, Justin Duckham, Mary Ellen, Kelly Flynn, Gunnar Franks, Carla Harrington, Havelock, Kelsey Hopkins, Christina Hurley, Ian, New Jared, Ken with 2 N's, Armana Ken with 3, TJ Levenhagen, Alicia Overton, Jordan Ramey, a different one, but the same one, Blue Roan, Seti Fan, Tatum, and Zach S.
Thank you, one. Thank you all. We love you. And you're keeping us going. So hopefully you had a good time listening, and we'll be back in 2 weeks with a new episode.
Yeah. And until then, remember, keep up that, the spirit of the tree squid.
Yes. In these hard times.
And remember,
camouflage yourself.
And remember, at one point, even the Puget Sound was covered by awful, terrible ice. But it retreated.
That's right.
Keep up the fight.
That's right.
And until then, and next time, remember, the only thing that's haunted.
I was a tree squid underwater. That's my impression of a tree squid underwater.
Drowning?
Tacoma Bridge, Washington, opened only a few months ago, was built at a cost of over $6 million. But misfortune overtakes the great structure. These are some of the most amazing pictures ever recorded by a newsreel. The actual collapse of the world's third largest suspension bridge. Only a 35-mile-an-hour wind is blowing, but this apparently sets up a rhythmic swinging of the bridge, which increases with each swing. Finally, the swinging road and the suspension cables give way and plunge into the water below. Fortunately, the only casualties were a car stalled on the bridge and a dog.
The Least Haunted podcast is recorded before a dead studio audience and is a presentation of Sequoidea Productions, LLC.